What's going on, guys? I'm going to give you some general tips that may help you out when you're driving for Lyft. So I do a couple of things that help me be pretty successful throughout the day. One of the things is I have a Sirius XM radio. It only costs like 19 so bucks a month or whatever, 15 bucks a month, I forget what it is, but it's not that much. And it gives a lot better radio experience and a lot varied music experience for your riders. So I really suggest picking that up. I always use channel 53 because it is a nice neutral electronic channel that is called chill, and everybody likes it. Almost nobody doesn't like it. People of all ages. It's not like controversial, so it's something nice for the ride, and I feel like it gives me better tips. Another thing that I do is I always keep water in my trunk, like a whole pack of waters. It costs like $2-3 bucks. Get a whole 24 pack of water. Keep a few in your front area here, and use those for your for yourself, and give one to anybody that you think might be thirsty. Or maybe you can just put some in the back seat and offer them. I've done that before. Usually no one takes them because I guess most people just don't like water, but it's just like a good thing to have on hand. Another thing I've talked about these like little trees. Definitely a good thing to get right there. Pick up some little trees. The smell can be really strong when you first get them, so use them just so. I kind of like try to like put one in my car when I'm not driving and like leave the windows down for a little bit and like come back, because they last a long time. People say it smells like the trees even when I don't think it smells like trees anymore. And I did give a 4-star rating from a rider who commented that the cologne smell was strong, and she meant the trees because I don't really wear cologne, so it had to be that. Another thing, I think you probably saw it too, is this little phone holder that I have here. It comes with a little like pad thing, and you can put that on there. But as you can see, I've just got it stuck on the window there. This costs like 20 bucks from Target. Fits like every phone, and I use it all the time. And the good thing about this one is that I can adjust it from like down here to up here depending on if it's hot out, because if I have it at the lower setting, like if I put it down closer, down here, then the sun comes like right down on it, and it'll make my phone hot just from the direct sunlight, which I'm sure is probably not good for your electronics to be baking. So I move it up here where you can see it's got a little bit of headway there to block the sun, so that helps a lot. So definitely pick one of those up. Another thing I would say is eat and use the bathroom at gas stations like whenever you can. You don't necessarily have to eat at gas stations, but just like rides will be coming at you like so quick that you'll want to make sure that you are staying on top of like going to the bathroom, because you don't want to like be in the middle of the ride and be like, ask your rider like, hey, do you mind if we pull over at this 7-Eleven so I can use the bathroom real quick in the middle of your ride, because you have to. So make sure you stay up on that. Don't drink too much water. Just a little tip there. And then also, a hat and sunglasses are always going to be your friend, because you'll be driving at all sorts of times of the day, and you may find yourself wanting to drive into a sunrise or a sunset where it's going to be a heck a ton of sunlight that you're going to want to block out so that you don't crash on the road mainly. Oh yeah, and then also like when it comes to your driving, so I've realized like I'm not a super fast or super aggressive driver, but maybe I've had to realize that I needed to tone down on that. So like when you're driving, like if you're turning and then you're feeling like you're going like this, like you're probably turning too hard. So when you're driving with riders, just try to be conscientious about the effect that your driving may have on them. Always stay within the speed limit. sometimes, you know, you can go like 4 or 5 over. I always do, sometimes maybe. So I mean, but don't like be going like 55 and a 35 and be like, how was your day? You know, just blasting through. You don't want to do that to your riders, because they might feel nervous, or even if they don't tell you. No, a lot of people will not tell you if they're nervous, and you don't want them to have to tell you, and you don't want them to even feel that way in the first place. So be careful about how you drive. Also, be careful about how the you know, the AC in your car is. You don't want it to be too cold or too hot. I usually just put on like my automatic setting for like 72 or whatever. And then also, you know, some people, they want to talk, and some people they don't want to talk. So for the people who don't want to talk, you know, when they get in, I'm just like, how's it going? And they're like, good. And then I'll be like, you know, how was your day? And they'll be like, oh, you know, pretty good. And sometimes usually people who want to shut up will just shut up then and not speak at all during the rest of the ride. And people who want to talk will be just like talking like crazy from there on out. But one thing that you know, could, you know, just if people who want to talk, just, you know, like, don't bring up like, you know, politics or anything controversial. Really, I mean, you can, but I just wouldn't, because you may deal with finding out that you guys have extremely opposite positions. Some people get really hairy over that, and then they'll want to like give you a 1-star review. I had one guy who thought that I leaned a certain way politically, and because of it, he yelled at me, slammed the door, and gave me a 1-star. And we didn't even talk about politics the whole ride. He just got out and said, I bet you're this, and then like slammed the door. And we hadn't even been talking about that. We've been just listening to Ozzy Osbourne. This dude wanted to listen to rock. It was him and this girl. And at the end of it, he decided that he figured that I was such a certain way. So even if you don't talk about it, I guess it can happen. But that was like 1 out of, you know, almost 1,000 rides that I've had that has ever been like that. So but I hope those tips really help you out. Oh yeah, also keep like mints or gum. I like to keep little Altoids in here. Always a plus. Oh, and also have your car like clean, like really clean, like in the seats. Vacuum out the bottom, because you'll get lots of like dirt and rocks, little rocks and things like in your car. And then also just like, you know, like shower. You know what I mean? Like shower. I always like shave. You know, just you want to look like a professional, like a somewhat professional driver. Absolutely, for sure. You know, you don't have to wear like a suit or anything like that, because it's like kind of corny. And you're not really driving around like executives or anything like that. But I always wear just like nice, decent clothes, and I always shower. Do not use too much cologne or perfume or whatever like that. And then you'll be good. And always confirm the address when they get in the car. That's a plus there. Oh yeah, and also, I swear this is the last thing. Sometimes, like when you see the dot on the map where you're supposed to pick the person up, you'll sometimes see their little person icon like a couple blocks away from them or something like that. If you see a discrepancy between the pickup location and the person, make sure you call that rider so that you can ask them where they really are. Get that cleared out, like when you're rolling up, like, you know, just make a judgment call. Call them on the way, call them before you ever leave where you're at to get to them. You know, do that. It will help you out a lot.